Hey everybody, this is Jennifer. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books, music, movies, and anything else that takes my fancy. Today I am doing the spring cleaning book tag. I wasn't tagged by anybody, but I saw it on the restricted sections channel and I liked it a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So let's see, the first question is, the struggle of getting started, a book or book series you have struggled to begin because of its size. Well, the thing I decided for this one was, for one thing, there are no like book series that I'm really gonna get into right now because I've done my darndest over the past like year and a half to like get out of series, you know, really long series. Like I've read a few trilogies, which is fine, but like basically any long series is just going to like not be happening. However, what I have been trying to read is the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. I've read the first two and I have the third one. However, I'm not quite liking it as much as the other one, and there's so many of them. And you guys know, if you get graphic novels, like the first one is like $9.99 to suck you in. Not these, mind you, because these are established. But thereafter, it's typically around $15 to $20, and it's for this, you know? And they're illustrated, and they're very nice, but it is a bit, like, for anyone that's, like, really long, and now Neil Gaiman is putting out more Sandmans, it's expensive. Like, more expensive than reading, like, regular book series, because, you know, I know it's not like the done thing on BookTube most of the time, but mass market paperbacks are like $7.99, you know? So that's like half the price. So it's much easier to get into, you know, cost-wise, to get into a big book series. But I'm trying very hard to like Sandman, but if I don't like the third one, I might not continue, because as much as I like Neil Gaiman's like proper like book well, you know, not that graphic novels are improper, I like graphic novels, but I like his book writing better than the graphic novel format for him, so who knows. Number 2 is cleaning out the closet, a book and or book series you want to unhaul. I do not have any book series I want to unhaul, because when I am ready to unhaul the book series, I get rid of them, like, right away. I've done it with a few. The Sookie Stackhouse series, I read that up until like the last 2, and then I realized, you know, I don't really care how this ends, so I didn't buy the last 2, and I did not read the last 2, and I gave all my Sookie Stackhouses away to one of my cousins. I also did the same thing with the Anita Blake series, and I just recently did this with a lot of my paperback copies of the Argento series by Lindsay Sands, which is paranormal romance. The last 2, I didn't even bother to like look and see when they were coming out, and I started to get the second to last copy from, well, I got the second to last book from my library, and then I quit like within like a couple of chapters because something happened that was like gross and I did not like it. So, you know, if you're just not really into a series anymore, there's no point in going through that stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that is my answer for number 2. Number 3 is opening the windows and letting fresh air in, a book that was refreshing. Okay, so I don't know exactly what some people consider refreshing. However, I'm gonna show you a book that I recently found that just made me so happy, and it is sorry, I'm gonna try to put this up here, but there's white, so who knows. The Seventh Function of Language by Laurent Binet. And it was madcap. I liked it. It had like spies, it had gigolos, it had the president of France, the soon-to-be president of France. It had like all kinds of stuff, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, that is my pick for a refreshing read. 4. Now, this is a perverse question. Well, not the question, the prompt is perverse. The question's pretty decent. But Washing Out Sheet Stains. A book you wish you could rewrite a certain scene in. Well, let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to... There's Jack London is Martin Eden. And you'll see that a bit, yeah, and you can see me reflected in it, whatever. The last scene of Martin Eden, I hate it. And I would rewrite it in its entirety. I do not like it. And I'm not going to spoil it because it's a major plot point. Wait until you see my no disclaimers book tag, and then I'll spoil it for you. Let's see here. Number 5, throwing out unnecessary knickknacks. A book in a series you didn't feel was necessary. Okay, so we're about to get all Rantosaurus up in here. Any series that goes past 10 novels, any series, anything past, I might make an exception. Because, to be perfectly honest, I got sick of Sookie Stackhouse after like 7 or 8. And I'm currently in an open... I'm currently reading the Rivers of London series, which is still open-ended. And I think that's pretty much the only series I'm reading that's still open-ended because I quit the Argonautes. But anything past 10 is too much. I get so tired of I get tired of it, and I'm like, dude, you can't come up with any new ideas. It happened with the like I said, it happened with the Argonautes, it happened with Sookie Stackhouse, it happened with the Anita Blake series. I'm just like, I was so over it. And what ends up, when I'm really into a series, I'm like, I buy the book and then I read it like right away. And then if I'm no longer into a series, I buy the book and then it sits and it sits. And then suddenly the next book comes out and I realize I haven't read the last one. And that's when I know the series is done. So yeah. Okay, so, and this one's gonna hurt. This is the second answer to this question. The last few books that Anne Rice wrote for the Vampire Chronicles, I made my peace with the end of that series. Actually, that thing happened with the Vampire Chronicles where I had like Blackwood Farm for like ages, and I only read the first couple of chapters, and then Blood Canticle come out, which ended the series in the first part, and I did not even read it. And so I was kind of done with Anne Rice for a little while because I didn't read the Out of Egypt stories and I didn't read the Angel Time series. But then I got into the Wolfgift series. There's 2 of them. So that's the other open-ended series I'm reading, right? And after the second one, I'm like, I'm really waiting for the 3rd book. And another Vampire Chronicles book comes out and I'm like, no, I'm done with that. Why can't you work on the one you just started a couple of years ago? Anyway, that's just a problem I'm having. Anyway. Okay, so next up, that's enough of the rant. Polishing the Doorknobs, a book that had a clean finish. Okay, so this is kind of a complaint for me because I thought for all the struggle and all the stress of this last book, it's actually the last in a series, I thought there really should have been more like, destruction. Everything just ended a little bit too cleanly for my personal taste, and that was Obsidio, which is the last book in the Illuminae Files series. Don't get me wrong, I love the book and I love the series, but that ending was a little bit too pat for me. Alright, so let's see. Number 7, Reaching to Dust a Fan. A book that tried too hard to relay a certain message. Now, I do not have an answer for this. I thought about it. And I'll just be honest, if I don't like it, I don't read it, and I don't care. However, now you're gonna have to bear with me for just a second. Last weekend, well, yeah, it's gonna be last weekend from when I'm filming this. It's probably not last weekend from when you're seeing it, but it was WrestleMania weekend. And I am a big professional wrestling fan. So I watched NXT TakeOver, and then I went over with my family and I watched WrestleMania. And oh my goodness. And you might think there's nothing, like, those two things have nothing to do with each other, but storytelling is major. Is major for both things. And like books, you want your story to be told through action. You do not want to have, like, the storyline, plot lines, like, reiterated over and over and over again by the commentators. So, like, he's the heart of the 205 Live. He's the soul. I'm the heart. Like, stop it. Stop it. If you cannot convey that through the actual action, the action, then stop saying it. Stop. Stop it. And it happened in several different matches where they were just driving the message home, like, through telling you and beating you over the head with it. And, like, it's obvious. You tell stories through action, you tell stories through promos. I do not need the commentary team commenting on it, like, all the time. So yeah, that is a non-bookish answer to a book tag question. All right. So yeah, the last one. The tiring yet satisfying finish of Spring Cleaning, a book that was tiring yet satisfying to get through. This book, The Heart is the Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers, took me 2 months. It's not a large book. It's only 300, and my copy is only 359 pages. But it took me like 2 months because it's, you know, it's not the most uplifting of books. It doesn't have you feeling like, oh, great, yes, you know. But it does, it's just really well written. It really makes you think, and it's a bit like, you know, it's not super plot heavy, so it's not, the action is not going to carry you, like, right through it. So yeah, I had to take this in little chunks, but in the end I finished it and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, those are my answers for the Spring Cleaning book tag. I'm not tagging any, I still haven't gotten over this. I'm not sure, you know, what the etiquette is for tagging people yet. So I'm kind of like reluctant to tag people. But if you're watching this and you want to do it, please, by all means, do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.